Hello, I'm Techsila, and this is an Assassin's Creed 3 multiplayer training program made for a gaming community called the Hold Square Reapers, and hopefully this will help some new players to the game. This is episode 1, and will mostly be an introduction to the game and some tips on how to get you started. So the very first thing you need to understand before you start is that this is Assassin's Creed, not some rush kill shooter game. So if you are used to playing games like Battlefield or Call of Duty, you will need to put that kind of playstyle aside while you are playing this game. If you haven't done the in-game tutorials yet, I suggest you do that before watching this training program. Okay, so I'm gonna start by showing you a few abilities. As a level 1, you have 2 ability sets. You cannot change them yet, so you're stuck with them for a while, at least till you get to level 6. So in this episode, I'm only gonna show you the abilities, perks and streaks in the default set 1 and 2. Let's start with default set 1, and the first ability is Disguise. Disguise is one of the most used abilities in the game. It's very useful in almost every game mode. When used, it changes your appearance into another character in the game for 15 seconds. It's very good for confusing your pursuer, and it's easier to get a stun. Disguise works very well while blending with a group of civilians. But even in disguise you have to be careful. If you're not careful enough, good players will spot you and kill or stun you. You can also use your disguise to kill your target. This is especially good against high level players. The next ability is Money Bomb. It can help you identify your target among a crowd of civilians. This is one of the least used abilities in the game. The next ability is Knives, and this is a very good ability. This is also one of the most used abilities in the game. The reason for that is that you can both get a stun out of it and slow down your target. Since my target had killed a civilian and I had slowed him down with my knives, I could easily get a focus bonus on him. The first perk is Sixth Sense. If your pursuer is being notorious, an arrow will show you which direction he's coming from. Since there's only one perk in this ability set, I'm gonna go over to the kill streak. When you get 5 kills without dying, you get 250 points. The loss bonus, Scavenger. If you're very unlucky and loses 5 contracts, you will get a loss bonus. This one will get you 200 points for each ground finish until you get a kill or a stun. Now let's go over to the next ability set. The first ability is Wipe. This ability basically does the same thing as the Money Bomb, but it's just a little bit better. And this ability is used. The players around you won't be able to use your abilities for a few seconds. The players can't hear heartbeats or whispers either. Then we have Tripwire. This ability can be good, depends on who you're playing against. To make this work, you need to make your pursuer walk into the area of the bomb. This can be very tricky sometimes, especially with high level players. Just try not to be too obvious. They might see what you're trying to do. It can be very smart to place it near a hiding place, especially a blend group. Tripwire can also be used to stop other players, like your target. This ability set's ranged weapon is Disruption. I really don't know what to think of this ability. It can sure confuse your target or your pursuer, but it's not really that useful. But of course, that's just my opinion. It's just that it has too long aiming time and I can never pull it off. The perk is Sentry. You will barely notice this perk. The only thing it does is when you lock someone and they get out of your line of sight, the lock will last longer. The kill streak. If you have 3 silent kills or stuns, you will get 250 points. Last bonus, Vision. After you lost 5 contracts, you will be able to see all your targets until you perform a kill or a stun. Let's go over to the game modes. You can find all the different modes under Custom Match in the menu. Here are they grouped under different categories. We have Free for All, Team Objectives, Simple Deathmatch, and Wolfpack. I'm gonna start talking about Free for All. In these game modes, you are on your own, playing against other players. Deathmatch, you get assigned targets, and you have a pursuer. Your goal is to kill your targets, while trying to avoid being killed yourself. In this mode, you don't have a compass, so the only thing that tells you where your targets is the picture on the top of the screen on the right side. This map is very small, so try not to be notorious. Wanted. It's kind of the same as Deathmatch, but you have a compass now that will help you track your targets. This mode is a little bit faster than Deathmatch as well, so in other words, people will be more notorious, and some people might run a lot on the rooftops. Assassinate. This mode was actually meant to be a very slow and stealthy mode, but it has become quite the opposite. You have a special kind of compass in this mode. The bigger and brighter the line is, the closer you are to the other players. To acquire a target, you need to lock them. This mode is very hard for beginners, since good players that are playing this mode will try to lure other players into locking them. They then use their precious smoke bomb to stun you, and then they acquire you as a target and kill you. Let's take a look at team objectives. In these modes, you need to work together as a team. The first mode on the list is Domination. In this mode, there are 3 territories you and your teammates are going to try to capture. Defending is also important in this mode. When you have captured the territory, make sure someone stays and defend it. The team that have all the territories, or at least 2 of them, for the longest time, will win the match. Manhunt. In this mode there is 2 rounds. Each lasts 5 minutes. In one of the rounds you have to hide with your teammates. You should also try to stun your pursuers as much as possible. Escape bonuses is also very good in this round, so try to get some. In the other round, you're gonna work as a team to kill your targets. Try to be at least a little discreet. And try not to take all the kills, your teammates probably want some too. I would suggest you use 2 different ability sets for each round in this mode. Artifact Assault. In this mode, your team's goal is to steal as many of the opposite team's artifacts as possible, while defending your own. The team with the most stolen artifacts will win the match. Simple deathmatch. This mode is the same thing as deathmatch, except you have no abilities. It can be a very good mode for new players, since high-level players usually have better abilities they can use against newer players in other modes. Wolfpack. In this mode, you and up to 3 other players are gonna help each other kill your targets. Your targets are NPCs, but be careful, cause they're not completely stupid. If you're just rushing in for a kill, they might use abilities and run away. Some even stuns you. You get some objectives that you also should try to do. In this mode, it's very important that you and your team work together to get to the highest sequence possible. The maximum sequence you can get to is 25. So this is the end of the first episode of the Reaper's training program.